Okay, so I just finished seeing the Aladdin movie, and I walk outside, and there's this guy out there, and he has magic lamps, and the idiot is selling them for $10 a piece. So, me being the smart guy that I am,
Okay.
I go and buy one, and he explains how you use it. But I mean, obviously, I already know how to use it. I've just watched Aladdin. I know. Just rub the lamp, and the genie pops out. Give me 3 wishes. My life is gonna change. Everything. And so, yeah, here we are, and I want to unveil to everyone the first recording of a real life genie.
NANI?
I wish for $1 billion, genie. Cash, no credit. Okay. I wish for the nicest sports car, genie. This is kind of embarrassing. Genie, come out.
Bruh.
There's no genie in here. This is useless. Well, I guess I can bring you guys a review since I got scammed. No one else needs to. Go ahead and watch it.
Hey, can you make me a prince?
There is a lot of gray area in Make Me a Prince. I could just make you a prince.
Oh, no.
Right, you'll be snuggled up with that dude for the rest of your life.
With the initial release of the trailer for this movie, many were quick to point out the fact that this movie could tarnish the reputation of Genie. And Genie is an iconic character because of the fact that he was helmed originally by the late Robin Williams, who left a legacy for the character that many thought couldn't be filled by any other actor or actress, myself included. Now, as a 90s baby myself, I wouldn't want to see any of my favorite movies from the 90s be tarnished. Lion King, I'm waiting to see. I already was let down with Jungle Book. And so I was deeply worried by a character that was so iconic that losing the depth that the character had would be an atrocity. So I was very worried overall. But with seeing the movie, I'm very pleased with the results, and I'm pleased with Will Smith's interpretation of the character Genie. He brings his own flavor to the character that really works for him, and because of the fact that it's live action, it brings a different depth to the character that couldn't be attained with animation. So Will Smith, even though he's looser with his jokes and his punchlines and everything like that, it's crispier in the sense that visually it's more appealing. You lose a little bit with, I mean, he's obviously not Robin Williams, but he definitely gives a good interpretation and portrayal of the character overall. Okay, soundtrack. The soundtrack is pretty much, for all intents and purposes, the same as it was in the 90s. You have the fan favorites like A Friend Like Me, the fan favorites like Arabian Nights, and A Whole New World that are going to make the people that are watching this, because it's nostalgia factors, very nostalgic. There's also newer songs like Silent or Speechless is what it's called, and those ones really felt out of place to me, and they didn't really fit into the movie. When I speak later on the wokeness part of this film, Speechless is a song that was so out of place that it took me entirely out of what was happening at the current time. It definitely is something that has an agenda, and it's something that was put in there as a device plot. And if when you watch a film, if you're not like, what is happening right now, like I was, there's no way you're watching the film and it's such an intense part of the film. It's the culmination of Jafar and his being a genie and all this other stuff, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, there's a song, a misplaced song, and a song that is so charged that it takes away the entire impact of the scene and ruin the end of the movie for me. Other than that, the only other song I can really complain about is A Friend Like Me. It was the most iconic song in the movie, and I had high hopes for Will Smith's adaptation of the song, and honestly, besides visually, he fell short. Visually, it was an amazing song. he added his own flavor, his own pizzazz to the movie, but fell short in actually singing. To me, it felt like he was reading off a script, and it felt like he was just saying the words of the song. And in doing so, it honestly took away from the entire song, and I had to like focus on the visuals more than the actual song, and it took me out of it. And honestly, those were the only two instances of songs. Other than that, if you're a fan of Disney and this movie in general, you're gonna have a good time with the songs. You're gonna have a good time seeing the live adaptations of songs you've been waiting to see. And honestly, the Aladdin and Jasmine weren't that bad. So when you get down to it, you have to understand that this movie is an adaptation of a film that was originally a cartoon. Now, in that sense, you have to take it with a grain of salt. You can't be so critical about this film. It's a live action of a cartoon that was a kids movie, right? If you're looking for nostalgia factor, you're gonna find it in this film. If you're looking for a direct, verbatim, I want to watch the cartoon, but as depicted by people, you're gonna have a bad time. You have to enjoy the good and understand that there is going to be some bad. And if you can do that, you're gonna enjoy this film. You're gonna have a good time, and it's definitely something I would, suggest that you go see in theaters. Seeing live action Aladdin and Jasmine coming down on their carpet, flying over Agrabah, is one of the best things I've seen in a long time in movies. And this isn't a bad film in the respects that most people are critical about it in. It's a great film in the fact that people are able to take characters that were originally cartoons and make them come to life. And if you can understand that, you're gonna be happy with this film. The only qualms that me personally even took to the movie was the casting of Jafar. And I felt like the character that they chose as Jafar was someone, he's not scary. He's not scary. That's all I can say. He didn't play the part to make me feel like I had to be worried about Jafar. Like, he was literally a throwaway character, and being the main, antagonist of this film, but not being scary. And I don't know if that was to cater to actual kids or, what have you. It just blew my mind that this was the guy that we were supposed to be so afraid of.
This movie definitely hits the mark in certain respects and definitely misses the mark in others. If you're wondering if you should go see this movie in theaters, or if you should wait for it to come on Netflix, or if you just wait for Redbox or something and get it for $1, this movie caters to the 90s group. The group of kids that grew up with this movie and people wanting to relive the nostalgia factor while being able to see movies that they grew up with in a different light. While remaining objective, I have to say that this movie definitely has a huge Disney all-around factor going for it. It plays into the allure that is Disney and the magicalness of, a carpet ride and all the things that made our childhood great and people that grew up with this movie. So this is a movie that is a good popcorn film, but it's definitely not an amazing movie. It's not an astounding movie. It's not an award-winning movie. It's just a movie that has come full circle and is encompassing a new generation into what the previous generation was able to feel. So by all means, go take yourself down to the theater, sit down, grab some popcorn, grab some Milk Duds, what have you, and enjoy yourself this movie just like, I know most of you will. And once again, I want to thank you guys for the continued support and the continued engaging on my multiple platforms, and just bearing with me through, the transition of me trying to figure out how to do all this. It's very supportive to have people that, want to give their input in regards to what I could improve on, what I couldn't improve on if they liked it, what kind of movies they want to see, what kind of movies they want to, talk about, want me to talk about. And, any suggestions that they're always open. Any kind of constructive criticism is always appreciated. But yeah, go ahead and stay tuned, and just remember, there's always more to come.